You're 9 when the silk first touches your skin, a stiff borrowed, smelling faintly of camphor. Your mother ties the sash so tightly you can feel your heartbeat in your ribs. She says it's to keep the folds neat. You know it's to keep your hands from trembling. The cart ride is silent. Your father keeps his eyes on the road, as though looking at you might make him change his mind. Then you see them, the red gates of the Imperial Palace, taller than any building you've known, carved with dragons whose scales glint when the light shifts, as if they're watching. An official in gold-threaded robes steps forward. His smile is precise, his bow measured. His eyes already calculating, coins pass from your father's hand to his. The gates open. The air changes. Perfumed, heavy, the scent of sandalwood and unspoken rules. No one says goodbye. You cross the threshold knowing two things: your name will be used less than your beauty, and beauty has an expiration date. Inside these walls, even flowers are trained to bloom on command. The women's quarters aren't a room, they ray a city within a city. Corridors stretch like rivers, lined with paper lanterns that never seem to go out. The light is warm, but it hides more than it reveals. You're led past gardens where peonies grow in perfect symmetry, each petal positioned as if afraid to be out of place. Servants glide by, heads bowed, steps measured. Here, silence is in art form. The concubines are unlike anyone you've ever seen, hair sculpted high with lacquer and jewels, silk gowns that ripple when they move, faces painted into flawless masks. Porcelain beauty with eyes that miss nothing. They don't look at you directly, but you feel the weight of their judgment. Every glance measures your worth, not in kindness, but in potential threat. An older woman, the madam of the quarters, greets you with a smile that doesn't reach her eyes. She tells you the rules. You wake when the emperor wakes. You speak when spoken to. You never refuse a summons. And most important, you are here to please, but never to love. Because love, in the Forbidden City, is just another way to lose. Your training begins before you even understand what you're being trained for. They teach you how to walk not like a person, but like a drifting cloud. Your feet must whisper against the ground. Never thud. The single step can take an entire breath. You learn to bow with precision, low enough to show respect, but never so low that you seem weak. Then comes the art of the gaze. You are told to look at a man as if you know every secret he has ever had, but will only reveal one if he pays enough for the privilege. Every day is a lesson in control. The way you pour wine, your wrist turn just so. The way you smile, as if each curve of your lips costs him something. The way your voice rises and falls, timed to his breathing, so he feels understood even when you say nothing. You are sculpted into an ornament, but one with teeth. A concubine must enchant, but also survive, and survival here means understanding that every word is a weapon, every touch a transaction. And above all, you learn the most dangerous truth of the palace. The emperor's favor can make you untouchable. It can also make you a target. Your training begins before you even understand what you're being trained for. They teach you how to walk not like a person, but like a drifting cloud. Your feet must whisper against the ground, never thud. A single step can take an entire breath. You learn to bow with precision, low enough to show respect, but never so low that you seem weak. Then comes the art of the gaze. You are told to look at a man as if you know every secret he has ever had, but will only reveal one if he pays enough for the privilege. Every day is a lesson in control. The way you pour wine, your wrist turn just so. The way you smile, as if each curve of your lips costs him something. The way your voice rises and falls, timed to his breathing, so he feels understood even when you say nothing. You are sculpted into an ornament, but one with teeth. A concubine must enchant, but also survive, and survival here means understanding that every word is a weapon, every touch a transaction. And above all, you learn the most dangerous truth of the palace. The emperor's favor can make you untouchable, can also make you a target. The message comes at night. A eunuch knocks softly on your chamber door, his expression unreadable, and says only 4 words. The emperor requests you. Your hands are steady, but your stomach twists like a coil of silken water. You dress with the help of attendant's youth. barely spoken to, slipping into robes so heavy with gold thread they feel like chains. A perfumed veil hides your face not for modesty, but for drama. In the palace, appearances are weapons, and tonight you are both the blade and the bait. The corridors to the emperor's chambers are hushed, yet alive with watching eyes. Every guard, every servant, is memorizing your face, marking you in the invisible ledger of palace gossip. When the doors finally open, the air inside smells of sandalwood and power. He sits on a raised dais, his gaze measuring, almost amused, as if wondering how long you'll last. You bow perfectly practiced, but not so low that you disappear. The first words he speaks are not a greeting, but a test. Do you fear me? And you realize this is not the start of a romance. It's the opening move in a game you cannot afford to lose. In the harem, beauty is your invitation, but survival is your art. You learn quickly that the emperor's attention is a double-edged sword. Too little, and you fade into obscurity. Too much, and you paint a target on your back for every rival who covets your place. The first rule whispered by the older concubines is simple: never be the favorite for too long. Favorites vanish as sometimes to remote palaces, sometimes into rumors no one dares to confirm. Your days are measured by rituals, the morning audience with the empress where every glance is weighed like gold, the midday meal, where words are as carefully chosen as jewels, the night where you sleep lightly half listening for footsteps that might not bring news but accusations. Your allies are never truly allies, only temporary shields against someone else's arrow. Every compliment might be a trap, every gift a test. You memorize faces the way a soldier memorizes terrain, knowing which smiles mean safety, and which hide sharpened steel. In this place, trust is an extinct luxury, and as you drift to sleep, you realize something chilling. The harem isn't a prison, it's an arena. It begins with a note slipped beneath your lacquered door. No seal, no name, only 4 words brushed in ink so fine it bleeds into the paper. That night, during the evening banquet, you notice it, her eyes, cool, calculating, drifting to you between sips of chrysanthemum wine. You lower your gaze in the practiced way that says both respect and self-preservation, but the damage is already done. Someone has whispered your name into her ear. The food tastes of nothing. The music feels too loud. When the banquet ends, a eunuch you've never seen before escorts you back through a corridor you've never walked. The air is heavy with incense, cloying enough to mask the sweat prickling down your spine. Inside your chambers, 2 older concubines are waiting, the kind whose smiles don't reach their eyes. They speak softly, their words draped in courtesy, but the meaning is clear: choose a side before someone chooses it for you. That night, sleep refuses to come. The silk sheets feel like a shroud. Outside, the palace is silent, but you know the whispers are already moving faster than the wind. And for the first time, you wonder, did beauty bring you here, or will it be what destroys you? You learn quickly, in the Forbidden City, survival is not about beauty, it's about reading a room before you enter it. At meals, you sit to places from the empress. Close enough to be seen, far enough not to be threatening. You speak only when addressed, and when you do, your words are polished to the point of invisibility. Your allies are not other concubines, they are the eunuchs and handmaidens. They see everything, hear everything, and if you give them enough silk, they might whisper something useful before disaster strikes. You master the art of the half-truth. Never deny a rumor outright. Instead, plant a more interesting one. Never challenge a rival directly. Instead, ensure her favorite hairpin mysteriously ends up in the empress's private quarters. Every gesture is calculated, from the way you hold your fan to how long you let your eyes linger on a general's new medal. Too much attention, and you're ambitious. Too little, and you're cold. Either way, dangerous. And every night, when the lanterns are extinguished, you remind yourself of the single and spoken rule of the palace: it's not the prettiest flower that survives, it's the one that hides its thorns best. At first, the emperor's visits feel like victories. Each summons means more jade hairpins, more silks, more power. But power in the harem is never clean, it drips, slow and bitter, from the mouths of those who envy you. The empress begins to watch you too closely. Her smile is polite, But her questions cut deep. How is your health? She asks, as though she's already picked the poison. Rivals send you gifts, a box of candied plums, still warm from the kitchen. You don't eat them. Not because you're certain they're poisoned, but because you're not certain they're not. The Emperor's attention becomes a double-edged blade. His lingering glance at a banquet sets off weeks of whispered plotting. A careless laugh from you, and suddenly someone claims you mocked the Empress herself. At night, you lie awake under silk covers, listening for footsteps in the corridor. A palace can be the safest place in the empire, or the most dangerous trap in the world. And somewhere in the dark, you begin to understand, desire in this place isn't about love, it's about control. And the moment you stop being useful, you stop being safe. It doesn't happen all at once. No one storms into your chambers to tell you you've been replaced. The harem is subtler than that. Its cruelty works in increments. First, the Emperor stops visiting quite as often. A week passes. Then two, you tell yourself he's busy with affairs of state. But you've seen the way his eyes linger on a new rival, fresh from the provinces, her beauty still untouched by palace exhaustion. Then the gifts slow. The silks are still fine, but not the finest. The jade is still carved, but not with the same precision. Servants grow less attentive. Even the musicians play with less care when they accompany your dances. And the whispers return sharper now. She's past her bloom. The Emperor's tastes have changed. One morning, your summons to the Imperial Gardens never comes. You wait, dressed in your finest, until the oil in the lamp burns down to nothing. It's then you realize in this place, the only thing more dangerous than rising too quickly is falling too quietly. The palace doesn't throw away its treasures. It lets them fade, until even they forget they were once coveted. The palace has no retirement plan for women like you. Once the Emperor's attention fades, you become another ornament collecting dust. You learn to disappear in plain sight. You stop competing for silks and jewels. Instead, you claim the quiet hours, the shadowed corridors, the hidden gardens where no one bothers to look. Some nights, you play the zither alone. Not for the court, but for yourself. The music is slower now, the notes lingering like the taste of old wine. You befriend the palace seamstresses, the scribes, the cooks. You've learned something the young ones don't yet know here. Beauty is a season, but survival is an art. Others were chosen not for beauty, but for politics, a gift from a rival state, a living peace treaty. Their smiles hid the knowledge that they were hostages dressed in gold. Every birth was a battle. If a concubine bore a son, she rose in rank unless another woman's hand found the child's cradle first. Many infants never saw their first moon. And the food. Every dish was tasted by servants, not for flavor, but for poison. Still, some women vanished after a single cup of tea. Even the Emperor was not untouchable. Some favorites were trained to influence his decisions, others to watch him for signs of illness or weakness, and report to factions waiting for their chance. This was not a home. It was a war fought with hairpins and silk sleeves. Years pass. The girl who arrived trembling at the gates is now a woman whose reflection is lined with stories. On the night of the Lantern Festival, you stand alone on the balcony, watching the city beyond the palace walls flicker with light. Somewhere out there are lives untouched by imperial politics, people who can choose who they love, where they walk, how they speak. And if history remembers you at all, it will not be for your beauty or your favor. It will be for the quiet defiance that allowed you to survive a life meant to consume you. If you've walked this far with me, stay. There are more lives you were never meant to live.